All right, peace, world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment live stream. Definitely gonna get into some bite down boxing. I have an awesome guest on here today. I just want to do a quick audio check with him real quick to make sure he can be heard, and then we'll begin this interview. Ammo, are you there, bro?
What's up? What's up? I'm here.
All right, let me take a listen to that.
All right.
Okay, all right. So we're good. We're good.
All right.
All right, so let me shut this down real quick, and then we'll jump into this. All right. So I want to introduce today's guest. You know, right now in the midst of this quarantine situation, in the COVID-19 and what's going on across the country, I thought it was a good opportunity to touch base with some different fighters at different stages in their careers and kind of give us an idea of what these guys, what challenges they might be facing and, when they expect to get back to work and just where they intend to focus their effort and energy, as we all work through this thing. So I want to bring in today's very special guest, Austin Ammo Williams. What's good, bro?
Chilling, trying to maintain. Like I told you earlier, just trying to maintain through the quarantine.
I hear you. Austin is down in Houston, Texas, and around that area. So anybody that's in the chat, if you do have any questions, feel free to put those up there, and I can get those over to Austin. I meant to give you this proper introduction, man. To go back to you in the past a little bit, but you were a former Team USA number 165 pounder. Two-time USA Boxing Western Regional Champion, two times Houston Golden Gloves Champion, two-time Houston Open Ring National Champion, 2017 Gulf Association Most Outstanding Boxer, and right now as a pro, 5-0 with 4 knockouts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Me. Yeah.
so you accomplished all that I just read out, man. You did all of that in just 47 or so amateur fights.
48. 48. I knocked them all out in that amount of time. I only had 2 novice fights, and I ended up going open right after the second one. And when I went open, I actually jumped right to the Houston Golden Gloves. And in that Golden Gloves, I actually lost in the championship to my guy Donald Reed. We went the distance. I lost in unanimous decision, and I wasn't even supposed to be there, man. To be honest with you, I had beat the former 2-time Golden Gloves champion in the semifinals, and that was a shock to everybody. So that's when I kind of got on the map in my fourth or fifth fight, one of the two, and then I ended up losing Golden Gloves in the championship, my first time ever doing it. But then I made a vow. I was like, anytime I fight Houston Golden Gloves, I'm gonna win it every time. And that's why I got those accomplishments so fast. So, yes, sir.
That's dope. So, what age were you when you picked up the sport, man?
I picked it up at 19 years old. I went to college for 1 year. I was trying to play basketball. I had a couple offers from like these D3 schools, and they were smaller than my high school. I couldn't do it because I really felt I had the talent to play D1. So I ended up going to University of North Texas, just trying to play. I ended up getting on a practice team, and a coach named John Luster pulled me in his office. He said, "Hey, you're a practice player. You'll never play during the season."
Oh.
And at that point, I knew basketball wasn't my calling. You know what I'm saying? And I told my dad, I said, I actually got depressed for a little bit, about 2 weeks, because I felt like I lost my identity. I was so wrapped up in basketball, and then I ended up having a dream that said boxing. I was 18 at the time because I was still in college, and then I ended up coming home. I turned 19 years old, and I told my dad, I just want to box, and we figured it out. So I started boxing at 19. First time I ever stepped in a boxing gym, I was 19 years old, and I'm 23 now.
Damn, that's dope. Being down in Texas, man, one of the powerhouses for high school football, what kind of led you to the hardwood, or did you play football at all?
I played football. I actually played football all middle school. Young growing up, I actually thought that was my sport. I thought football was the one for me. And then I just one summer, I don't know what it was. I just kept going to the YMCA by myself, and I just developed this passion for basketball. I didn't know what it was. I liked it. I felt like it was a lot more. Um, you're a lot more involved than I was in football. Football, you get a play here and there. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted somewhere I could shine more. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? Now that I'm on this call and I think about it, I was probably trying to find my way to an individual sport the whole time. But being young, yeah, seriously, but being young and being in the demographic I'm in, it's normally football and basketball that's introduced to us. You know what I mean? So I was kind of just juggling them two sports. I knew I was an athlete, but I knew, you know, I don't know. I just knew that I wasn't getting the satisfaction out of both of the sports that I really wanted, and I guess that's why God forced me out of basketball and helped me find a sport that really makes me glow 100%, and that's boxing. So, yeah, that's how it happened.
That's interesting. What position did you play in basketball?
Point guard. Point guard in basketball, and then growing up playing football, I was cornerback, wide receiver, and running back. Those were always my three positions. I played one season as a fullback, and they ended up switching me back to running back. But yeah, that was my three positions. And in basketball, it was always point guard, shooting guard. It was my two positions.
Did you I mean, I'm sure you keep a little interest in the basketball game, man. Did you have a favorite for your bracket for March Madness, or have you kind of completely turned away from basketball?
You know what? Now, this is the crazy thing. This is some crazy stuff about ammo right here. I never played big time 2Ks. I never got too much into Maddens. I did used to play NCAA. When that used to come out, I was young, probably like 9, 10 years old. But my main sports and stuff was always the main games and things I was into was always like Tekken, fighting games, Soul Calibur. They had these Dragon Ball Z fight games, Mortal Kombat, stuff like that. That's what I would play, and then when I would watch TV and stuff, I would always watch like action movies, fighting movies, war movies, stuff like that. I was never the guy that would sit down in front of the TV and just watch sports like football, basketball, unless it was a real big thing like the finals or the Super Bowl or something like that. Then I might watch. And the craziest thing about that is because when I started boxing, I was infatuated with watching film. And don't get me wrong, I would watch like the top best dunks and the best crossovers and stuff like that. But like sitting down, studying it, studying basketball, studying football, stuff like that, I never did it. And then now when I'm boxing, I can watch film 24/7. That was another thing that like let me know. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to box, but I mean now I could tell you like the star players in the league, basketball wise. I still kind of see highlights here and there on my timelines. Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. So I kind of know who balling and stuff like that, but I've really never just been the guy to just sit down and watch sports. And then now that I don't even play them, it's like I'm so far away from them. You know what I'm saying? I like LeBron. That's my favorite player, and I think that's more so because who he is as a person and what his message and what he radiates. So yeah, man, I don't even really have that much favorite teams and all that right now. I'm just so wrapped up into the sport of boxing.
Wow.
You know?
You have a very elite left-hander in the city in James Harden. So you don't watch him too much. He doesn't pass enough for you, or he's a different kind of point guard than what you kind of envision for yourself or something.
I think he's awesome. I love him. I think he's a great guy. And then also too, one of my great friends named Daniel House, number 4 for the Rockets. I grew up with him. He knew me since I was a freshman in high school, and we just stayed close ever since. Because when I was a sophomore, I used to practice with him and the varsity team, and we got close from there because I was a young guy, you know, developing myself, and I would be in practice with him and stuff like that. So that's a real reason to watch it. And then I also got a friend named Matthew Adams who's like a brother to me, and he plays for the Colts. So I got a lot of reasons to watch him. I mean, personal reasons to watch him, but um, I don't know. It's not even that it bores me. It's just I never just find the time to sit down and watch. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Yes,
That,
sir.
Now that's interesting, man. One of the quotes I found from you when you announced, or when it was announced that you were going pro last February, was your goal is to. You said my goal is to be the greatest, most influential fighter of all time. Um,
Yes.
you know what's your influences then, or what figures in the sport have influenced you in your development as a fighter?
Um, Roy Jones definitely. When it comes down to fighting style, I say Roy Jones is one of the most influential people to me. And then of course Muhammad Ali. You know, Mike Tyson, those guys. I mean, Mike Tyson, I think, is more influential to me now, who he is now, than who he was in his prime. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why is because he's a story. He's somebody you can learn from. He's somebody I can say, okay, I don't want to jump into this type of lifestyle when the money comes. I don't want to jump into, be around, surrounding myself with these type of people. I don't want to let people just handle my business because they might steal from me, stuff like that. So he's very influential to me. Then Muhammad Ali, I mean, just how he shook the world up with his charisma, with his message, and with things like that. Sugar Ray, same. Um, these types of guys are very influential to me. But I think I have my own messages to get out there to the youth and to the people that it's going to be different and it's going to be very influential. But that is my goal. That's completely my goal. I'm not out. If you look at my Instagram and stuff like that, you won't see me always flexing money or trying to show off like I got this, I got that, because that's not even the goal for me. You know what I mean? A lot of fighters, they have to do that. They want to separate themselves as a person. They want to make people get, and I get it. It's a scheme. Make people just in awe about your life and who you are and stuff like that and what you have. But for me, it's not about that at all. Like I'm all about inspiring. You know, letting people know they can do it too. Letting people know, everybody's special in their own way. You don't have to be a fighter. You don't even have to be rich. You just gotta find a way to be happy. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much my whole goal. So you know what? That actually saves me money
Right.
because I ain't going down that road of trying to buy all the new, designer and all the chains and stuff like that. That's just something that don't really interest me. Um, because it doesn't give me the credibility that I want to have to be able to inspire everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's that.
That's dope. One of the things that helped out Muhammad Ali, I mean, he had the right personality and the right makeup for it, but he came up in those times that really allowed him to all in conjunction, it allowed him to be as great as he was or had that impact that he had internationally. Is there anything that you think right now, do you think maybe the state of the world today, or just the business in boxing itself? Do you think these things could be major roadblocks in terms of you being, reaching a level of influence that you like to?
No, not at all. And I tell you what. One, the first thing is that our sport is breeding some monsters. So I won't have the Roy Jones problem, which is like he can't fight nobody to fight, or he might have one or two good fights. No, we got some real super fights. You know what I mean? Coming up with the youth and the people coming up around my age and younger than me and a little older than me. I'm not gonna be hurting for competition. That's gonna keep the people intrigued. That's gonna keep me in super fights. So that's one thing about the business that's really good right now. Two, the other thing that's real good about the business is that we have true platforms. Every fighter has a platform, a social media platform, where you can touch the lives of millions. Um, and then my promotional company is on literally on the cell phone. The Zone, you can pick it up, buy it. It's very new age. It really lines up with the new people, with the people that I need to pull in. The way that the way that my promotional company is moving things is gonna give me the best way to capture the attention of everybody. So as far as the business, I think that's really good. It's gonna be perfect. Now the other thing, I'm gonna just be honest. I'm a young black male. I'm black in America. It's getting a bit better, but the stigma is still the same. You know what I mean? We, as a young black male, a young black person, you probably gonna have stuff very hard. And for me to find a way out, be successful, be influential, all at the same time, um, I think that's another thing. Just as far as my makeup, my genetic makeup, that allows me to be very touching and very influential to the people. Then, of course, the money's there, so I can do a lot of giving back. I can do a lot of events and stuff to really get people out. Um, it's just a really good time in boxing. Then the other thing about boxing, this is the last thing that I'm gonna say that's gonna make sure. I mean, that's gonna let you know how influential I think it can be. Is the fact that our sport it comes alive and then it dies. And the reason why it does that is because the people in it, you know. And I feel like I can be the person that really pulls in the masses, everybody, the whole world. I feel like I got the personality, the charisma, the style, the knockout power, all of that stuff that people look for to really be intrigued. And I know I can pull the world in and capture the ears of everyone. So I just really think it's a good sport for me. It's the perfect sport for me. I can take it. I can take it over. I can become the face of boxing. And I believe in a couple of years I will be that. I think when all the smoke clears and everything and all the people, the prospects kind of wane down and stuff like that, I truly believe I'm going to be the face of boxing. And that's going to allow me to really have that voice. Almost like Canelo, but Canelo right now has the opportunity to really, everybody knows Canelo, but I don't think he's enough of a role model or enough of a person that people can connect with. Even though he's great, even though he knocks people out and destroys them, I think he's lacking a major side, that would allow him to change the world.
Yeah,
Me, I believe I possess that, and it's just me. You know what I'm saying?
he seems to be a little introverted in a way. Kind of, he doesn't embrace that stardom. And he a lot of times he doesn't like to speak English and whatnot, which I hear he speaks English better than he lets on. So yeah, I can see where there's some things that well, I can see what you're talking about, and all of that was very well said. Like you said, with moving over and starting out with the Zone and Matchroom Boxing USA and everything, did you consult any other boxing figures with making that decision? And you probably hit on a few things, but why did you feel comfortable that was the place to start your journey in boxing?
Well, I had pretty much everybody was interested. The only person that I didn't talk to was Al Heyman, and I don't know why I didn't talk to Al Heyman, but I think that it would be better for me to talk to Al Heyman later on rather than to talk to him as a very new prospect.
Was there an
Anyway,
attempt? Was
but I see.
was
Go
there
ahead.
was there an attempt from Heyman or anybody at PBC to reach out to you?
It was attempts, and I let that up to him. He dealt with them, but he said, the offers really nowhere near what I was thinking about. Also, too, I got Top Rank, of course. They wanted to give me a couple of trial fights before they figure out the bonuses and stuff like that. I wasn't really at all. think they only do so much for their fighters, and they have a couple fighters that they really focus on, and the rest is all by the wayside. You see my treatment with the match, they treat me like a world champion right now. Of course, I know to stay hungry. I don't fall into the hype, but they treat me great. You know what I'm saying? They've exposed me to some amazing things. I just put it up a couple of days ago. Like when it's time for me to fight for world championships and stuff like that, I won't be starstruck. I won't be, caught up in the lights and have to get myself together and stuff like that. I literally already understand how it feels to be in that atmosphere, to fight in a real atmosphere. The Anthony Joshua experience in my second fight was the best thing for me. It was a shocker. I was a swing belt. I had to control myself. I had to control my emotions and all that type of stuff. But I just don't see myself being in situations like that with any other promotional company. I had Roy Jones wanting to sign me. Lou DiBella, he wants to sign me. And they sent some pretty strong offers. But they just don't have the following that I was looking for. It actually came down to my last two people was Top Rank and Matchroom. But Matchroom just seems so much more in me than Top Rank and what's his name, Bob Arum. With those guys seeing in me, I think they was gonna take the approach of me literally just fighting from the bottom up. Let's see how far this kid can make it, possibly become a world champion, blah blah blah. And I was like, cool. But you know what? They have a very orthodox way of promoting their fighters. And I think it's better for guys who are like Olympians and who are like have Lomachenko type pedigree and backgrounds and stuff like that, because I think they actually specialize in promoting the guys who went all the way, been fighting from 7 years old, got all these national championships, got all of these gold medals in the Olympics and stuff like that. And I think that's who that's their focus. That's who they're going to give their all to. Now, Matchroom, they're a bit unorthodox. They were, if you look at most of the prospects we got like Diego Pacheco, we got Nikita, we got myself, we got Alexis Espino, we got guys that are dangerous, you know what I'm saying? And I think they realize that people actually care more about somebody being able to knock somebody out. In today's day, people care more about the action than they care about the accolades. You yell out 3 or 4 different world championship belts, the majority of people are not even going to know what one of them are. We'll be lucky if they know what WBC is. So I think that Matchroom is just looking at the general interest of the people and what really matters in today's day of fighting. And I think they promote me correctly. I think they take my strengths and they maximize it. And they really have dissected me as a person, and they know how to, uplift me and make me even more memorable and, just more tasteful to the public. So that's why I ended up going with Matchroom, and I think that's why my career is going the way it is, because we just on the same page. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's interesting that you mentioned that. My next question was going to be, you mentioned the Golden Boy guys, but there's also a Bobby, Rashad Mati, Otha Jones III. Have any of you guys, had any group chats or group conversations or whatnot in terms of the pressure or just a concerted effort to really blow this thing up? I mean, I know all you guys are just starting out, but you guys got a chance collectively. If everything stays intact, you guys got a chance to do something different, to do something for the first time, like you said, versus being over there at a long term power such as a Top Rank.
Yeah, yeah. I talk to the guys every time. Most of the time when I'm fighting, I'm on a show with another prospect.
Right.
And we normally talk, and we talk about like the pressures and how it feels to already be on this stage and just this crazy experience that we got. We always remind each other like, hey, keep going hard, because later down the line, some of us might be fighting each other and it's gonna be for mega millions. So It's like, man, stay on the course because, like, even though it is competition, I can't make money without them. I can't make super money without other super fighters. So the people on track to be that, you kind of want them to be that because they're going to be the other entity that allows a lot of people to come and want to watch the fight. And like every now and again, I text Nikita like, "Stay ready." You know what I'm saying? And I text, just stuff like that. Like, don't fall off, because we gonna make this money later on.
Right.
And we want to fight. We fighters. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to show that they top dog. But if anybody like falls off, takes a couple losses and stuff like that, that's just another person who will never be able to generate the same interest. So it's very critical that everybody stays on track. But at the same time, I don't worry about other fighters. If I see them, we talk. But it's an individual sport. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm the greatest. I feel like I'm going to be the greatest. I want to be the greatest, and I want to fight everybody. So I can only be so friendly with people. And like I said, as far as like how friendly I am with the guys, it's more so like stay focused because we're going to make this money together later. But that still don't change the fact that of the energy I'm going to come into the fights with and things like that.
Right.
It's just, we know we both getting paid for this and it's worth it. And that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Well said. So, I mean, you were involved with USA Boxing. So at that time, was the goal to go towards the Olympics and go that route?
Definitely, yeah. The route was to go to the Olympics. I had one fight that pretty much changed my mind. I was fighting with a guy named Sixto Suezo or something like that. Um, we was having a great fight. I was having the best fight of my life. I almost knocked him out. I was getting very close to stopping him, and I ended up throwing a punch, and I just had all of my energy just completely depleted. I never felt like this in a fight before. It felt like the ending. It felt like a bad dream. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I wanted to faint in the fight, just faint. I ended up making it through the fight because the guy, he was strong, but he didn't have much skill, and I still had enough energy to kind of split punches and make him miss and stuff. And he ended up winning the fight on the split decision. Even after I watched the film, I couldn't understand how they gave the decision, but I did, just sit down and weigh my options, and I think that was the last lesson that I needed out of USA boxing before it was time for me to go pro. And another factor was I knew I started late. I knew I started at 19. And then it was a couple meetings they had with USA Boxing. This is when the Olympics was still up in the air. And they told us they didn't even know the qualifications for the USA Boxing thing. And I knew I was very new on the scene. I knew I didn't have the same amount of points as a lot of these guys who had been on the team for 3 or 4 years. Um, so I was just like, you know what? I've already made a name for myself. People know who I am, and people know I'm a knockout artist. So I knew that would get me signed. I talked to my dad. I said, you know what? Let me just weigh my options and see who's interested. And we got all of the people interested, which ended up getting me a really good deal. And I really liked what Matchroom was doing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to just start my own business because right now we don't even know what's going on with the Olympics. It was more so of a strike while the iron is hot type situation. And also, too, while I'm so malleable, because I was only boxing for 3.5 years at the time, I'm so malleable. I said, you know what? I'm gonna learn how to be a professional fighter at this time where I can change so easily, and I'm not really getting set and stuck in any ways. And it was just the best decision for me. Also, too, it was just I needed more stimulation. I felt like the 3 round, 3 minute fights with the headgear or no headgear, whatever it was, I just felt like it wasn't giving me the experiences that I wanted out of fighting. And now I really do get them. Like in my last fight, I fought this kid. He had 50 MMA fights. He was like 5-2 or something. Yeah, 5-2 2002 Donald Sanchez,
Right.
and this guy was strong. I mean, like I fought a guy who could he just knew how to fight. And when I say he know how to fight, I'm talking about he know how to do little dirty tricks, little elbows, headbutts, stuff like that. He knew a lot of little dirty stuff that I knew I would never learn in the amateurs. I just would not learn these types of things in the amateurs because you don't have the opportunity, to get down to the nitty gritty with somebody like that. So that's the type of stuff, the type of experiences I'm after in fighting. So it was fun. It was just a really good time for me to go pro. And then also too, I learned why that happened to me because I was dehydrated and I had what we call a sugar dump in the fight, and I was like, you know what, that sucked so bad because I did want to do the Olympic thing and everything, but I was like, this is a great experience for me. This is a great lesson for me, and this is a mistake I will never make as a professional. So that's when I decided, yeah, it's time to go. And USA Boxing still showed me a lot of love. You know what I mean? Like when I was getting recommendations from people, and USA Boxing was speaking for me. They always speak very highly. They always show me love before I fight and everything. So it's nothing against USA Boxing. It was just time for me to, continue that same progress, that fast track that I've been on.
Right. Okay. So, like I said, when I reached out to you, man, one of the things to discuss was what's going on with you and where you are in your career, what you were in the midst of when this work stoppage took place. So, how was this impacting you, man? You're a 23, 24-year-old guy. I don't know if you any kids or anything. You mentioned that you had a girl that you had a girlfriend and whatnot. But how was this impacting you financially?
Financially, I'm fine because I still receive my stipends from National. Um, I was gonna get a nice little check on the fight that I was gonna have on March 19th, but I keep my money pretty much good in savings, and I got my money tied up in some good stuff, so I'm not really too worried about money. It ain't been a big financial hit on me. Um, the challenge for me more is just it's really not a challenge. If I'm being honest with you, I'm just taking this time as like a off season, and I'm taking little things. I'm watching my film. I'm seeing what mistakes I make, what things I can fix up in this time. I've been going to the gym still at night because I got a key, and I've been going over perfect punching for like 10, 20 minutes, stuff like that, 30 minutes. I just do perfect punches. So I just took this time to catch up even more, skyrocket even more, make sure I emerge back on the scene as a better fighter and not the same MO that people seen before. This is a great time for me also too because you know what, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was pretty sure that I was gonna hurt my right hand in the fight on March 19th, but I just was feeling so good that I was like, man, I could beat this kid with one hand if I had to. But I think that was another blessing for myself is that I really got to sit down and let my hand heal out of the way. I hurt it a little bit fighting Donna Sanchez, and man had a hard head. Oh my God! But uh, yeah, I think for me, I'm just using it as an off season, just like basketball has one, football has one. And when I come back, I'm gonna come back different. Also, too, when I come back, I'm a little bit behind on my contract, so they're gonna make it up for me, and that means I'm gonna be on more shows, which means I'm gonna get a lot more exposure faster. So, I'm just making sure I'm ready when that explosion comes. But yeah, financially, it's not really a burden. I'm just more so worried about fighting. I just want to get back to doing what I love. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Who was at the top of the March 19th card? That wasn't the Ortiz, was it?
No. This was just a small little Golden Boy show, and I actually got to tell you the story on that. Golden Boy has Thursday night fights in
Right,
Houston
right,
at the
right, right.
Yeah, I mean in Los Angeles. I'm sorry, I said Houston. And I talked to Eddie Hearn. I sent him a voice memo. And this was late December. And I told him, I said, look, I know you want to get me on all the greatest shows. You've been getting me on all the greatest shows. But I said, let me build up. Let me continue this fast track that I'm on. Let me keep this snowball effect going because I told him it's all. I love fighting back to back. I love it. I get more comfortable in the ring. Like if I could fight a month and then the next month and then the next month. A lot of people need breaks, but for me, it's just I get more comfortable and I get more free in the fight. I don't want to take 3 and 4 months in between fights, especially not at this stage. So I talked to Eddie. I told him exactly how I felt about it, and he turned me around fast. January 30th to March 19th, and we was gonna keep it going. We had a deal. Me and Eddie had a deal. If I continue to perform every fight, he had turned me right around. But as soon as I had a bad performance, he was gonna slow it down. That was our our pact. Um, so now, I mean, that was just a little show that I was on because he just vowed to keep me active. And I didn't really care what show it is right now because I'm not the main event or co-main events right now. I just want to run the numbers up and run more highlights up. You know what I mean? And continue to gain that experience and just learn more stuff, have more fun, be more comfortable in the ring, be more comfortable in front of people. And yeah, that was pretty much it. So
Okay.
the show was just a small show, but that's the reason why it was a small show.
Okay. Um, you said you touched on something, and I don't want to dig. I'm not trying to count your money or anything, but I did want to get out there so that people could understand, and other fighters and whatnot, or other amateurs. But it sounds like. Well, let me let you explain it. But you mentioned that about the stipend and whatnot. But is this something that's set up for you or for younger fighters to help spread you guys' money out over the course of the 12 months versus just living fight to fight? Or is it like some financial resources or whatever in place to kind of help you guys out with managing money?
I think it is a tactic that Matchroom did to help me out. Help. I can't speak on nobody else's contract. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
Right.
what people sign for and all that. But I think the stipend is a way to not just give a kid all of his money up front and make them actually have to fight to live because I've talked to a lot of people, and I know fighting to live is a completely different. You're in a different sport. You know what I mean? You're fighting for your life, literally. And I think a lot of people think like, oh, that can make you more hungry. No, it can literally make you more hungry. Like you're not eating good now. You can't train as much because you're working. You can't blah blah blah. Stuff like that. And then it's a guy who is good. They don't have to worry about working unless they want to. Sometimes I pick up training sessions here and there, and I help people out. It's more of a give back thing, but I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
that just allows me to, have my bills covered and just be a person that boxes. I just have to box. The only thing that I have to do in my life is box. Continue to get better at boxing, and yeah, they gave me a very nice bonus, and then they broke some money down over a couple of years in stipend, and that really helps me just be comfortable and just only focus on fighting, and that's it. So I think that's a beautiful thing that Matchroom did, and now that I think about it, because I haven't thought about it, I think they could have put my stipend money right to my bonus, but they decided to take a piece out of that and let me manage it over the course of years. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's dope.
And I think they should do that for all the young fighters.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. Okay, man. So like back in October of 2019, you were able to travel over to London and fight on the Taylor Prograis undercard. That fight represents your only victory by decision. But that was obviously it was the World Boxing Super Series finale and whatnot. But everybody is probably that's following the sport closely, saw that you. I believe that's when you and Eddie had the the private jet flight back over there or whatever. Some one-on-one time, with the with the head of your promotional affiliation and whatnot. So, what was your takeaway from that total experience? And then fighting in front of UK fight fans, which we all hear is it's an electric, yeah, it's an electric scene and whatnot. So, what was your takeaway from that experience?
First off, I'll start off with just being able to live in London. That was awesome. I mean, I never experienced nothing like that. That was my first international trip in my life. And to be able to go there and live there for a month, because I was helping Regis get ready for Taylor, to go there and live there for a month and learn a new place and learn, you know, their norms and stuff like that, and just become acclimated to a new country. That was one of the greatest life experiences that I've ever had, hands down. It expanded me as a person, definitely. It showed me a lot about the world. It showed me how different but similar we all are. You know what I mean?
Right.
That really helped me. And then the time with Eddie Hearn was awesome. We got to know each other a lot better, because not only did I have that time with him on the jet, I spent the day with him at the office, and got to know his dad, Barry Hearns, as well. And they basically just not only talked to me as somebody like a kid that they see potential in, they really told me the business. They told me exactly how it works and what I need to do to be successful in the sport. They gave me the rundown, the blueprint. All I have to do is follow it. And it's pretty cutthroat, I'll be honest. It is a very cutthroat business that I'm in, but I can handle it. I wouldn't want to be in any other business. So that was another great thing I took from it. I'm in no way confused as to how this stuff works. And I also know that it's not fair. Boxing is not a fair sport at all. So you got to have all the vitals. You know what I mean? You got to give yourself the best chance. You really got to give yourself the best chance at being successful. And that was another great experience I took from it. I had went to a fight in Newcastle. That's where we was on the private jet on the way to. Oh my
Okay.
God, the experience there in Newcastle was nuts. I mean, I've never seen a crowd I've never been amongst a crowd like that, and I wish that we could bring that same energy back to United States. But as the fight goes, me and my team, if you look at my fights before that fourth fight in London, I was fighting kind of a running gun, like I was on these guys' necks. I might have taken a couple of shots, but it didn't matter. I was going to take you out in a couple of minutes. You know what I mean? And in this fight, me and Eddie and Barry also talking about they want to see me showcase a bit of skill. Showcase what I can do, showcase my jab, showcase my form. And I took a much slower approach with the kid, and still almost knocked him out. But I wanted to show that I could do more than just blast guys out with explosiveness and energy. And that fight actually was my fight with the smallest crowd, because I was the second fight on, and it was before anybody
Oh
really got
yeah,
me
yeah,
on
yeah.
the broadcast. Yeah, so I didn't get. It's still an experience for me to get out of London. Is like fighting in front of the UK fans. You know what I mean? I still need to get that experience because the crowd wasn't present yet. But that fight though, with the kid that I fought, Miroslav Jr., he actually showed me a style I didn't see, and the style that he presented to me was one like he didn't even want to win. You know what I'm saying? His whole goal and objective was to make it through the fight. So he pretty much fought in the shell the entire fight, which makes a fighter think how much should I open up, because you don't know when he's coming back. You can't calculate a rhythm no more because he's not fighting in a rhythm. He's just shelled. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So that was a good way for me to learn how to dissect different type of fighters, different type of styles, and learning how to see through a poker face, because he had a really nice poker face. He wasn't showing when he was hurt too bad, and I hit him with some big shots, but it showed me how to dissect a fighter a lot faster. And that fight that I had with Juna actually is the reason why I ended up finishing the guy in Miami, because he had the same kind of tendencies to ball up and just kind of take the shots. But I just really believed in my firing power even more and start going down to the body quicker. And then I opened up the headshots, which he couldn't take. So um, that whole experience was overall growth for me as a human being. You know what I mean? Not just fighting, uh, and not just personal. Like, it was all around together a great experience for myself.
Right. Who'd you think won that fight, man? Between Kelly and Prograde.
I thought that Regis edged it out, and I thought the worst case scenario was a draw. And the reason why I say it is because clean shots, Regis was landing the clean shots. Taylor actually took a different approach to the fight than we all expected. And he got involved.
Completely.
He just walked Regis down. You know what I'm saying? You seen it.
Yeah.
Came on the inside, walked him down, took the shots, leaned on him. The style of leaning on somebody a little shorter than you, that really takes the energy, especially if you know how to fire off shots. And he was doing that very well. And he was just, he just came with a completely different style than anybody expected. Hats off to him. But I still felt like Regis landed the much more noticeable shots. He had him hurt a couple of times in the fight. There was a couple of times I was screaming in the crowd, he was about to stop him. He was about to stop him, because I just knew the effect of Regis's punches, and I think he was very close a couple of times, but no cigar. But I would give it to Regis. I wanted him to have it, but honestly, to be completely honest with you, I thought it was going to be a draw. I thought they was going to have a split draw, and I thought they was going to run it back. I thought that was going to be what happened. To be completely honest with you, I thought that was going to be the result of the fight.
Yeah, it was. I could see it either way, but like you said, I thought it was gonna. I thought it was gonna be a draw before the decision was announced, and when it went
Exactly.
and when it went in Taylor's way, it wasn't a robbery or anything. I mean, both guys put it on the line. Like you said, I was completely taken aback by seeing Taylor move in the way that he did and be as comfortable as he did doing it. And I loved Regis. I heard him in a couple of interviews afterwards, and he was just real honest about it. And but still, an accepted defeat. Actually, I mean, he accepted the loss, but he really had a great the way that he looked at it personally. I just thought was really impressive, and he's one of the guys in the game that I really I like his demeanor and his outlook towards like you said, boxing isn't fair.
It's not.
So
and he handled that like a true champion.
yeah,
I gotta give it to him. I don't have that maturity yet. You know what I mean? I'll go nuts if I lose. You know what I'm saying? I put so much to it. I'm so passionate about it. And I'm not saying that he's not passionate about it. I'm saying he's mature. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I think
just know myself right now at 23, I can't take it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose. I can't. It's something I can't do. So
I think that's that New Orleans. I think that's that New Orleans kind of that Big Easy vibe that he's able to, kind of do that. Hey,
Yeah, it is awesome. I mean, he actually gained fans from doing that. You know what I mean? If you was in the crowd, I was in the crowd when after his speech, and I mean, the crowd, I damn near gave him a standing ovation. You know what I'm saying? Like, for somebody to be in a fight that tough and that close and have such a humble outlook on defeat, when they truly thought that they should have won, that's just different. Even if he really felt like, hey, I lost and he was humble, that would have been different. But since everybody knew that he really felt like he won and he still was humble, now that just brought it to a completely different level of respect. Like, this is a truly mature, real fighter, real guy. You know what I'm saying? And, I respect Regis so much. That's my big brother. I if you know me, I rarely call anybody my big brother. You know, I might even call you my brother, you know, my partner or whatever, but big brother mean I look up to you. Regis is one of my few big brothers.
Right. I think it's just a testament to who he is as a person. Like you said, one, the speech that he gave, the comments that he made in that moment, and then by the fact that he was even there in that tournament, it's just not a lot of guys that are doing that, and just sign up for a tournament like that when you don't call all the shots, you don't call the location. I mean, here it is. He had to go over there and fight overseas. When he was over here,
In his backyard.
he probably wins that fight, or gets that decision and whatnot. So yeah, he came out of that having lost nothing in my opinion. So that's that.
He got another big fight, you know, right after. They ain't even waste no time with tune-up fights or nothing. He's right back at Maurice. So
exactly.
I think it's fine. I think he hasn't lost anything.
Exactly. Like you mentioned earlier, man, you said you mentioned you come back from that. That was October. You come back and get on this card for the Super Bowl week down in Miami and get the TKO 4 win over Donald Sanchez. On the Andre Killer card. You've kind of already touched on that performance, and actually you kind of answered my question already. I thought maybe you had a little different approach in that, because I thought it was very very poised attack. It was very measured, but still very effective. I thought it might have been because of the cut that you sustained. I don't know if that was at the Arlington fight or the MSG fight, but I think you caught a cut in one of them. So I thought maybe that's why you had why you fought Sanchez the way that you did. But how would you grade yourself on that performance?
I give myself a B, and I'm gonna go over everything you said too. I give myself a solid B in that fight. Well, actually, you know what? I give myself a B plus in the fight. And the reason why is because you can even hear me in interviews. You can hear me talk to people. Look at some of my pre-fight interviews. My pre-fight from this fight interview, and you'll hear my tactics and my scheme to take this guy out. And I literally did exactly what I said. I was going to use the jab. And also, too, that poise, that was a reward of my fourth fight in London. I learned how to really take my time and see that the shots will still be there, whether I'm very high and ramped up or if I'm just calm and taking calm shots and finding the guy. So that was another thing that I learned. The poise that I showed in that fight is one reason for my B, because I had family members, friends calling me and was like, dude, I used to look at you as a boxer, as like my friend that's a boxer, but now I see you as like a true professional, like a real professional boxer, man. You know what I mean? That made me feel so good, because when somebody is a professional at something, you see the comfort of when they're doing it. You see the poise and just almost like this is another activity for them. This is not a special thing, So for me to be that poised, I give myself a B. The calculation of my shots. You watch my punches. I rarely missed any shots
Exactly.
against him. And I think that accuracy allowed me to get a B as well. And then the traps that I set on this guy. I set traps from the beginning. Like I told you, I learned from Miroslav Jr. to go down to the body a lot earlier so that the guy could give you the headshot. I deposited body shots over the course of a whole round, the first round. In the second round, he dropped his hand, and I came over the top with a Maidana chopper. That's what me and my dad call it, the Maidana chopper. But I came over the top with that because I learned how to set traps. I learned how to take my time, set traps. Also, too, I had 6 rounds. That was my first 6-round fight, so that was another, reward. I mean, that was another thing that kind of helped me slow down a bit. But the reason why I say that I wouldn't give myself an 8 or an A plus is because it was a lot of dull. It was a couple of moments in the fight where I could have pumped a jab, and as simple as that, I could have put a range finding jab on him, a touch jab on him, or a power jab on him. I could have put some type of jab out there on the kid, And I just want my activity to be high. I want my poise to actually hide how active I am. So I just want to be a little bit more active in a fight like that. But I'm very happy with the result. And back to Madison Square Garden, that's where I got the cut.
Okay.
I actually went in too fast. I threw a straight left hand to the body, and the guy threw a left hook. He missed the left hook, but he came through with his elbow, and he cut me. And I just don't want to put myself in any type of situation like that again. Where I'm kind of frantic and the guy's kind of frantic, and then it's just kind of just fireworks. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be in a situation like that. When it is fireworks, I want me to be the guy letting off the fireworks. Not me and the guy are both shooting fireworks and it's just madness. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
a way to do it. It's a way to take somebody's heart. It's a way to slow somebody down, make them put their hands in their pockets, and then you can turn up. It's ways to do that. It's a scheme. You know what I mean? You just gotta dissect the fighter, see what they like to do, see tactics, tendencies, stuff like that. And some guys you'll break them down in 30 seconds. Some guys you might have to break them down in 2 to 3 rounds. Some guys it might take 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about dissecting a fighter and taking them out. And those lessons from my second and my fourth fight, you can see them you can see them exude themselves in that fight. And that's why you see such a poised but accurate and explosive me, because I got to mix those two things together. So that's why I give myself a B in that fight.
Right. Yeah, I had a conversation. I actually did a review. I was at Otha Jones's fight up in Chicago when he got when Eddie Hearns went a little hard on, not liking his performance. And, I kind of looking at you guys, he also fought in Miami and was able to get the stoppage that night. And I really wasn't trying to be critical of Otha's performance in Chicago more than I think to sum it up, I just was like what you did with Sanchez. Some of these guys, you got to control the action and you just got to show levels. And I just felt like in Chicago, for whatever reason or another, I thought that OJ3 just didn't show levels that night. But I felt like he took the criticism in a positive way and came back and had a great performance in getting that stoppage in Miami.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your?
I didn't. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I didn't really get a chance to see that fight. But I knew that was very good for him to get a stoppage with how he was being talked about and stuff like that. I knew that was a really good thing for him to get the stoppage. But yeah, I mean this is a very competitive sport. You got to take the criticism. You got to really dissect your performances and come back better. If you don't come back better, you might as well stay home because you're not going to advance in your career. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much the thing that I want to do. I want to make sure every time I fight, I advance myself in my career. So if I hear something that my coach tells me that needs to be changed, if I hear something that Eddie Hearn tells me I need to be changed, I take that very seriously. I don't take it with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I have to take all the regular public's opinions with a grain of salt. When it comes down to those critical people, you need to listen to what they're saying, and they know. They've been around the sport longer than I've been alive. So I take it, and I apply it. I also shoot out my own ideas and see what they feel about it. And criticism is everything. You need to be criticized, and you need to respond well to criticism, especially in the sport that we are in. That's all about judgment. It's literally a cosmetic sport. It's all about judgment. It's all about what people think and what they see. So for us to hear, how people feel and what people see, even if it's just the public, it's invaluable to us. We need that. And a smart fighter is going to take that and apply it as much as he needs to apply it to become a better fighter.
Hey, well said. Hey man, what's Dad's history with boxing?
Nothing. That's crazy. My that's why I say boxing chose me. Look, my whole family, we've not been involved in boxing. We are not a boxing family. We do not know boxing tradition. We didn't know anything about boxing. All we knew is that I was hungry and I was gonna make it happen, and we made it happen. And we all learned it on the job. That's why I take my dad along with me. My dad, I want to be a lot more of a powerhouse, in my business later on down the line. But right now, he's just with me. He's seeing the ropes, learning how things go, learning how credentials work, learning how, the business work, who's in charge, who's in power, how to get to them, how these contracts work. Sometimes you got to sit down and negotiate. I want him to be right there with me, not just my manager, stuff like that. So we all learned it on the job, which is the funnest experience for me. I know if I had 20 other family members who did boxing, a couple former world champions and stuff like that, who was kind of trying to guide me and tell me how to do things, it wouldn't be fun for me. I like how I move because I'm moving in a very unorthodox way. I'm doing everything different. I'm skipping the line. You know what I'm saying? And it's really it's a product of my hard work. Don't get me wrong. This is not just a mental thing. This is real, true grind, hard work, outworking everybody. But I'm working in a way that's smart, and I'm trying to be the most efficient that I can be. So, me and my dad are together, learning together, pushing it together, experimenting together. And, you can't really fail. It's all trial and error. And, my whole entire family has never been familiar with boxing. I opened that door for my family and for the generations to come. And I'm going to not only be the first, but I'm going to be the greatest and let them follow in those footsteps.
All right, you're cutting your teeth and gaining this experience right now. Competing at middleweight. But I did see when it was announced that you were turning pro, that you left the door open for a trip down to super welterweight. And I know that's been one of my favorite divisions for the last 3 or 4 years. Is that still something that you gonna? I mean, is that still part of the plans, or is it just kind of wait and see?
We waiting to see because, I'm 23, but I've only been boxing for about 4 years now. So my body is still making changes and developments. I'm telling you, I look at my body too. I look at my body when I was if you look at my body as in my debut compared to my body in the fifth fight, you will see a completely different guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's been happening over the course of my entire career. And I don't know when that's going to stop. I don't know when that's going to cease. I don't know when my body's going to stop developing these actual boxers' muscles. And, it's a body that, just like anything else, a biker going to develop a type of body, a bodybuilder going to develop a type of body, a soccer player going to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't think that I've embodied my primed boxing body yet. I don't think I developed all the muscles that come along with yet. And my coaches don't think so either. They think I'm still growing into it because I started late with it. And that's pretty much the thing that's going to determine when I do hit that, pretty much solid weight of where I'm going to be and stuff like that, if we going to go down or if we going to go up. Because I feel a lot more dense than I was in my debut. In my debut, I felt kind of like light, still amateurish. Like I felt like I was light. You know what I mean? But now I think through the experiences of being a professional fighter, you have to be. It's a different sport. You have to be somewhat dense. I'm not saying like a plotter, really like all the way on the deep side like a Mike Tyson. No, I'm not saying that. But you do have to get more battle prepared. Like you gotta have a little bit more on you. It's hard to explain. I can't explain it, but
talking about like that
super light.
Talking about that, like I know when the guys are in camp for football, when they come out of training camp, they talk about being, I can't think of the phrase, but it's like you got to be ready for contact, that you get from football. And it's, you see a difference when guys skip that training camp and preseason.
exactly. That's exactly right. Like, if you don't, it's things that happen in a professional fighting ring that you have to be more battle ready. And the way to be battle ready, and like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't be light, limber, and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about your actual genetic makeup. Your body is gonna like turn a little bit more. It's like a manhood that comes over you. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what it is. It's just your body knows that it has to adapt to being a professional fighter, where the gloves are very small, and it's no protection other than the gloves, and you just gotta become a little bit more dense. You gotta get like thicker skin. You gotta that's a good way to like describe it. Like you gotta get thicker skin, denser bones. You just gotta be just more filled out, you know. And I know my body is still making that transition. I'm only a 6-round professional fighter. I still got to go through my 8s, my 10s, and eventually get to my world championship fights. But right now, I don't know. I know I can feel it. Like after I work out and stuff like that, even my coach be like, "Dang, you look different." You know what I'm saying? So, as far as us cutting, the thing is, we so far away. Well, we're pretty years away from world championship fights. So, for us to be cut into my growth to make it down to 154, we don't want to shock my body so much that I blow up when it's actually time to fight for a world championship. You know, I've been killing myself to make 154 in 6 and 8 round fights, and instead of just being somewhat comfortable, blasting these guys out, then make it to that level and see what we really can make. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, I mean, my ranking is real high. I'm to only have 5 fights. I forget what I am. You can look it up on BoxRock, but it's very high. You know what I mean? And if I keep going at this rate, I'm gonna be in the top 10, top 20 by the end of 2020. So I just gotta keep building my ranking up at 160 right now. I want to get in the top at 160 right now. So if I do transition over into another weight class, it won't take a big hit on my rank. Right now, I feel like if I start switching weight classes, I'm gonna just have to start all over again as far as my ranking and things like that. So I'm gonna just, for the time being right now, stay pretty comfortable and stay healthy and strong. And with how much activity I'm gonna be doing in these fights, I'm not gonna do too much weight cutting and dehydration and stuff like that. I'm gonna just stay naturally strong and able to fight.
Got you. You mentioned Espino. I like what I saw in that kid. Another guy out there in top rank is Edgar Berlanger. You know, you seem to be aware of quite a bit that's going on, man. So are these guys, as they continue to make noise, you see you guys colliding at some point down the road?
Definitely. I mean, there's a couple golden gooses for each promotional company, and of course, you know how the sport goes. They're gonna protect that fighter as much as possible until the money's right to risk them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, but I definitely see, like I mentioned earlier, it's a lot of fighters that I have super fight potential. It's so much super fight potential in the sport of boxing right now with the prospects coming up. And I know that we're gonna be, because I'm not gonna be a fighter that leaves fighting and says I didn't get the full experience. Win, loss, draw, don't matter. I want to be able to fight everybody multiple times. Some people I might have a trilogy with, or a rematch, or whatever it might be. I want to be able to fight the best guys. When I finish up with boxing, I want to say to my children, to my grandchildren, to my great grandchildren, I want to tell them, hey, look, I really did it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it as a fake marketing propaganda thing where the guys wasn't really good that I was fighting, or they wasn't real monsters and stuff like that. I fought this guy, and then I showed my kids that guy, and I showed them the guys knockouts and stuff that they had in the past and stuff like that. This is the guy that I knocked out. You know what I mean? So I know I'm gonna talk to Eddie. I mean, another thing too in this world that I'm in of boxing is we fighters, as long perform, you have a voice. You have a pretty good voice. And if I continue to tell Eddie Hearn, hey, I want to fight this guy. Hey, I want to fight this guy. Hey, I want to fight this guy. I think he's gonna make it happen. I've already sent Eddie Hearn a guy that I wanted to fight, and I actually want to fight him soon. That guy Lorenzo Simpson.
Oh,
I want to fight him soon. I want to fight him soon. Yeah. I want to fight him soon because I have no problem with the kid. You know, I kind of have the same approach as everybody else. Like I was saying, like stay grinding because right now I know we probably ain't gonna fight, but if you continue to get better, if you continue to build a following, if you continue to this and that, we gonna have a super fight down the line. You know
right.
So he decided to say some stuff about me, you know, saying like I would be an easy fight and all that, you know. And I was like, you know, I told Eddie right away, I was like, please make this fight happen. I don't care what's on the line, blah, blah, blah. Make this fight happen. I wanted it to happen, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a fighter. I'm a real fighter. I don't care. I started boxing because I want to be the greatest fighter of all time. Somebody really believe they can beat me, then I want to fight them. And that's it. That is simple as that. And it ain't too much drama involved. There's no, you know, puns or no slick words to say. You think you can beat me? I want to fight you. I feel like I'm a dangerous guy. You feel like you're a dangerous guy as well. Then we can fight. So that's the only type of situation that I, you know, kind of got out of the norm where, of course, the top guys are going to fight later on. And I was just like, forget it. I want to fight this kid right now. And I sent him a message about that. So, who knows? I don't even know where that's going to go. I might get it. I might get it sooner than later. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I really want that one, too. That was bad. So.
Now I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you though, and I think you know that's kind of why I pulled back a little bit from social media with some of the different you know the boxing discussions that go online, especially you know revolving around a fight like Spence and Crawford. You know, I'm like you, man. I don't really have time for all the platform stuff, promoter stuff. I mean, you guys. And I understand, and I hope that doesn't happen to you, where you know the money gets all in the way, or you know promotional relationships or promoter relationships. You know that would be unfortunate, but I don't want to add to the interview unnecessarily. Usually, you know, I finish it with giving fans a chance or listeners a chance to you know hear directly from you. You said a ton of thoughtful things, man. So I think you kind of covered all bases. But any last words from you, you know, to the fans out there, you know, about Ammo Williams?
Man, to the fans, I want to say thank you guys for still being loyal and you know supporting all your athletes. I ain't just gonna say boxers. All the athletes that's kind of out of condition right now. I appreciate y'all for still showing the love, and you know we put our lives on the line for these things that we do to entertain you guys. So the fact that y'all still show love is amazing. Also, too, like I said all through this interview, my entire goal is to be one of the most influential human beings that there ever has been. So you know. Any suggestions or stuff like that you guys may have or something that you want to see more from me, let me know. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good at responding to my people. But, yeah, just really thank you for the love and thank you for the support all through my career. And it's going to be a real fun one to have. So that's it. Thank you, guys.
All right. One person in the chat just said Ammo, said Chris Rayner said salute. He said Ammo is the real deal. And, you know, thanks, Chris, for tuning in, man. I appreciate that. So with that said, man, we've been on here long enough. I'm going to get on out of here. But like I said, man, I appreciate you coming on, sharing your story. You know, you touched on a couple things I didn't even expect to really get to, man. But I wish you continued success in the ring and just in terms of your career in general. It seems like I said, you're pretty cognizant of a lot of stuff inside and outside of the ring. And I respect your maturity a ton. Chris Rayner just said he's a big fan. So I got your social media and everything on the screen so that people can follow you and keep in track with you. But like I said, man, I just respect what you're doing. Uh, and like I said, listening to your comments, your responses, and the way that you can communicate, man, I think you're going places. And I'm gonna be tuning in to see where it all ends or where it all goes. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you, man. Hey, I appreciate you for having me on. I truly do.
All right, man. Take care then, man, and we'll reconnect to something once the sport resumes, and we'll see what's going on with you next.
All right, definitely. Thank you so much.
All right, take care, bro. All right, so that was Austin Williams, man. Like I said, I really just wanted to touch base with different fighters and see how this COVID situation, this COVID induced work stoppage, is impacting fighters and whatnot. And he was gracious enough and mature enough and professional enough to get back with me on my on my request for an interview and whatnot. So I appreciate that 3,000%. And I'm gonna get on off of here, man. Have a great day. Continue to stay safe. Continue to do smart stuff. I know I gotta run out for my mom, who's in her early 70s, and so I'm gonna run out to the grocery store for her so that she doesn't have to, and risk exposing herself to anything. So we'll get that in. Like I said, do the same thing for the elderly people in your family. Take care of you and yours. And until next time, I'm out of here. Bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Peace.